Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, starring Henry Golding, Andrew Koji, Haruka Abe, Takiro Hira, Yuri Ishida, Iko Uwais, Peter Mensah, Ursula Corbero, Samara Weaving, and Samuel Finzi, directed by Robert Schwentke. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but please forgive me. Now, I have only seen this movie once. I couldn't bear to go to a second time. And let's get into why. A young boy is orphaned when his father is murdered, which is a typical of origin stories. Years later, the boy has grown up into a talented and deadly martial arts fighter driven by a desire to avenge his father. To conceal his true identity, he calls himself Snake Eyes, played by Henry Golding, a name inspired by which his father's murder forced him to roll a pair of dice to determine his fate. His father was killed when he rolled double ones. And come on, does it really make you lose your life? And if someone says it does, I'll say this. It doesn't make any sense, as some of the movie doesn't make sense. While working at a fish factory, Snake Eyes is approached by a wealthy Yakuza boss, Kenta, played by Tikiro Hira, who offers to find his father's killer if Snake Eyes works for him, which is a terrible piece of writing. When Snake Eyes is asked to prove his loyalty by shooting a man who betrayed Kenta's trust, Snake Eyes deliberately misses the shot and helps the traitor escape, when this is when the plot of the movie kicks in, as it's Snake Eyes training to become more badass than he is. And the choreography is pretty cool. I enjoyed that from the movie, as it's the best thing about the movie and not the acting, which is corny. And honestly, I didn't care for the characters as much. The traitor is revealed to be Kenta's cousin Tommy, played by Andrew Koji. Tommy and Kenta were both in line to lead clan. Let me see if I say this right. Arshikage, an ancient society devoted to preserving order and fighting evil, and and blah, 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 as this plot makes no sense. Kenta sought to kill his brother, but failed and was banished, and why should I care at all? Because unfortunately, I don't care. Grateful to Snake Eyes for helping him escape, Tommy takes Snake Eyes to his clan and asks to be initiated as a member. And where have I seen this before? As it was predictable, the current clan leader, Tommy's grandmother, Sen, played by Iri Ishida, agrees to let Snake Eyes undergo the 3 trials to determine whether he's worthy of membership. And I've seen movies like this before where they've been executed better than this, in my opinion. The clan's head of security, Akiko, played by Haruka Abe, doesn't trust Snake Eyes, but he wins her trust by revealing his sincerity, to join the clan, and finally avenge himself on his father's killer. And I didn't really care, as this feels like a foreign James Bond film that is unsatisfying. The two gradually start to form a romantic attachment. Unbeknownst to anyone, Snake Eyes plans to betray his new allies, which feels like Avatar. Tommy's attempted murder in escape is shown to be staged by Kenta in order to get to Snake Eyes close enough to steal the clan's most sacred treasure, the Jewel of the Sun. And how ridiculous is this movie going to get, as I find it will get kind of obnoxious, as the movie is shot rather poorly. Snake Eyes finds himself increasingly torn between his guilt over betraying Tommy and his clan and his overwhelming desire for revenge. And this is a revenge movie cliche. He passes the 2 trains and with his exceptional talents, and learns that the 3rd and final trial requires his spirit to be tested by sacred anacondas. And it feels like the movie Anaconda, but done much worse than that. Who knows whether or not if he is truly pure of heart. Due to Snake Eyes' subterfuge, the snakes expose him as untrustworthy, as the character of Snake Eyes in this movie is very alienating, confronted by the clan, and Snake Eyes admits that he has been not too honest, but manages to hide the true reason he betrayed the clan. As a consequence, he is expelled, and I like the kung fu Yeah, kung fu scenes, but the movie is badly made, which with scenes that I can't follow and characters I don't know at all and don't like. Snake Eyes returns in secret and steals the jewel, using his knowledge to the clan's temple, delivering it to Kenta as the scene was very badly edited. But I did like the room as it did look pretty at best. But this is when the movie starts to lose me and I have no interest anymore. But I'm not checked out. Kenta explains that he is stealing the jewel on behalf of a terrorist organization known as Cobra, which is a totally cliche, and it doesn't turn out as menacing as it did in The Rise of Cobra, nor Retaliation. Cobra, through their liaison, the Baroness, played by Ursula Corbero, has been arming Kenta with weapons so that he can seize control of Clan Arshikaj, which is a betrayal and a debacle, in this movie. Snake Eyes receives his reward for stealing the jewel, his father's killer, who turns out to be a Cobra agent, and I thought, this movie is not only delivering a bad movie, but a protagonist as the performance, but a bad protagonist as the performance by Henry Golding is terrible in this movie. Having realized what his bloodlust has cost him, Snake Eyes spares the man and instead goes to the clan Arshikaj to warn them of Kenta's attack, which will lead to a climax that I couldn't for the life of me know what was happening. Tommy puts aside his anger and lets Snake Eyes assist him and the clan's warriors, including a red-haired woman with a crossbow, in fighting off Kenta's men, as this movie isn't what I wanted for an origin story of Snake Eyes. After Kenta admits that he has no intention of handing over the jewel, the Baroness abandons him and defects to this clan's side, which I personally can't believe. With his men defeated, Kenta loses the jewel to Tommy, who is in fury, tries to use its power to murder his brother. Kenta manages to escape, but Snake Eyes traps him in the Anaconda Pit, which was not earned, despite it was so late in the movie. But I just wanted to move on, where the snakes devour Kenta upon the sensing of his evil spirit. They judge Snake Eyes to be pure of heart for foregoing his revenge, and thus he becomes worthy to join the clan. And that was again very much didn't earn the moment, as this movie is bloated. After the fight, Sen tells Tommy that he is no longer fit to lead the clan, as he broke their vow to use the jewel. Enraged at being denied his birthright, Tommy forsakes the clan and owns his family and his own family, which is probably so, and it makes sense for the culture. Snake Eyes meets the red-haired woman, Scarlet, played by Samara Weaving, who explains that his father was a G.I. Joe agent, part of an international peacekeeping organization, of which she is also a member. Having completed her service of Clan Arshikaj, she offers to bring Snake Eyes with her so he can see whether he would be interested in becoming a Joe. And to be honest, it was over, I'm thinking, I don't know what this movie was saying the whole time, and that piece of ending was not that great. The Baroness locates Tommy, who now calls himself Storm Shadow, and recruits him into Cobra. And could I just say, for this whole movie, as soon as they introduced Tommy, I knew he was going to be Storm Shadow by the end of the movie. And I was right, and it erases the origin story of how they became enemies from the previous two movies. And it just left me not caring for this property as than I ever saw these movies are. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 3.7 out of 10. The movie is bloated and didn't earn the moments of the film, as I didn't understand the dialogue. I did like the kung fu scenes, but unfortunately not enough for me to like this movie, as I didn't understand who was fighting who, and I unfortunately don't like the characters. The acting is horrible, as the protagonist is very alienating at this point. Please, for the love of God, don't make another G.I. Joe origin movie like this, and I don't remember Snake Eyes ever talking in the previous movies, nor in the cartoon movie, and I don't want any more of what I saw in this movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the G.I. Joe series, and until they ever get another one out, Yo Joe!